Have you ever wondered how some messages just stick? You know, how a speech, an article, or even just a commercial can totally change your mind? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on a curriculum that's all about teaching students how to decode our world of persuasive messages. Okay, let's get into it.
The thing is, we live in a world that is just completely saturated with information. Every single day we are bombarded with arguments trying to convince us of something. So the real challenge is, how in the world do you make sense of all of it?
I mean, just think about it for a second. What makes an argument really land? Is it the cold hard logic, the emotion behind it, or maybe it's the person who's delivering it? This is the huge question that students start with.
And you see this play out on the biggest stages, right? A major political speech, for example, is so carefully crafted to influence millions of people. I mean, this is seriously high-stakes communication, and understanding how it works is, well, it's critical.
But it's not just about politics. Persuasion is absolutely everywhere. It's in cultural critiques, it's in movie reviews, it's in debates you have with your friends. This article is making a totally different kind of argument, but, yep, it's still trying to convince you of its point of view.
So the bottom line is we are always the audience. From the moment we wake up, we're basically navigating this huge sea of messages. The real question is, do we have the right tools to analyze them effectively?
Well, it turns out there actually is a blueprint. There's a structured method for breaking down any argument you come across, and it's called rhetorical analysis. This is the toolkit students get to help them navigate that sea of information.
And to put it simply, rhetorical analysis isn't about agreeing or disagreeing with someone. It's about understanding how the message is built to be so effective. It's like getting to look at the architectural plans of an argument.
So the whole process really boils down to 4 foundational questions. What's the message? Who's the intended audience? What's the context surrounding it all? And ultimately, how effective is the writer at making their point? Students learn to ask these 4 questions about any text they run into.
The curriculum's backbone is really built on these 3 essential learning standards. First, can you break down the parts of an argument? Second, can you figure out the author's purpose and who they're trying to talk to? And third, can you then turn around and build your own well-reasoned text? So it's all about deconstruction and construction.
So what does this actually look like in a classroom? Because this isn't just dry, boring theory. The curriculum brings these big ideas to life using examples that are modern, engaging, and sometimes, pretty funny.
The whole unit unfolds over just 20 days. It kicks off with a simple question on day 1, and by day 3, students are already deep into analyzing the persuasive power of a Nike commercial. You can see how it all builds, step by step, from analysis to assessment to that final writing project.
And this is just brilliant. To understand argumentation, students analyze a John Mulaney stand-up routine. Seriously, they're asked to treat his monologue like any other serious text, find the argument, look at how it's structured, and pinpoint the most powerful language. It just goes to show you that rhetoric is everywhere, even in comedy.
This, of course, leads to a huge question for the students themselves. Once you've picked apart someone else's argument, how do you go about structuring your own analysis? And, well, there isn't just one right way to do it.
And here is the answer key they get. Students learn these 4 powerful frameworks. You can organize your analysis by following the text's timeline, or by focusing on specific persuasive tricks, or by starting with the most powerful point, or even by tracing a theme. This gives them a ton of flexibility as writers.
Okay, so we've got the what and the why. But how do teachers actually get these ideas to stick? Well, they use a whole toolkit of specific strategies to help students build up those analytical muscles day after day.
And the toolkit is really smart about balancing strategies for both reading and writing. When reading, students get active, annotating, color-coding claims and evidence. And for writing, they use things like low-stakes practice and specific revision techniques like radar. It's a constant cycle of reading, thinking, and then writing. Let's just zoom in on that radar strategy for a sec. It's a simple, super memorable acronym for some really powerful revision. Replace, add, delete, and reorder. This isn't just about fixing typos, you know? It's a strategic way to make your writing so much stronger and way more persuasive. Now, it is really important to understand that this 20-day unit isn't just a one-off thing. It's actually a key piece of a much larger, very intentionally designed 4-year journey through high school English.
Just look at this progression. In English I, the focus is just on identifying evidence. In English 2, it shifts to organization. By English 3, it's all about specific word choice. And by English 4, students are critiquing the overall effectiveness of a piece. Each year builds directly on what they learned the year before.
And this chart just visualizes that increasing rigor perfectly. The cognitive demand just keeps getting higher each year. Students move from simply spotting the parts of an argument to making these really complex judgments about how all those parts work together to create an impact.
Which brings us all the way back to the beginning. Why does any of this really matter? Why spend 4 years learning how to deconstruct persuasion?
Because the ultimate goal, it's about citizenship. It's about empowering students to move beyond just passively swallowing the information they're fed every day. It's about giving them the tools to be active, critical, and discerning thinkers in a very, very complex world.
This quote from the curriculum's goals just sums it all up perfectly. The point isn't to memorize a bunch of terms. It's to be able to explain how an argument actually works, to see the machinery behind the message and really understand how it's all engineered to build a main idea.
So I'll leave you with this thought. The next time an ad makes you really want to buy something, or a headline makes you really angry, or a speech truly inspires you, just take a second and ask yourself, will you know why?